Good day, everyone. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. So here I want us to have a look at this question. So here they say we have to solve this equation, which is based on the quadratic number pattern. So they say the quadratic number pattern of this, right? And it has the constant second difference of 1. Okay, so what you have to understand is that when you are dealing with the quadratic number pattern, the second difference is the one that is constant, right? So if I'm getting the second, if I'm finding the second difference, that means I have to find the same value throughout, right? But if I'm dealing with the arithmetic sequence or the linear sequence, the first difference is the one that is the same. Okay, so let's look at this question. So the first question, they say show that P is equal to 7 and Q is equal to 16, right? So the first thing that we have to do, obviously, let's just rewrite this. So we'll have 4 P 11 Q and 22. So this is T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, right? So now let's find the first difference, right? So what is the difference? The difference is the answer that you get when you are when you're subtracting, right? And you have to understand that you always, when you want to find the difference, you always say the number that is ahead minus the number that is behind, right? So that means here it will be, and the formula, the easy formula for you to find the difference is just that is Tn plus 1 minus Tn. Okay, so that means that the number that is ahead minus the number that is behind. So here I will have P minus 4, right, which is my first difference, and here I will have 11 minus P, and here I will have Q minus 11, and here I will have 22 minus Q. I want you to note how I subtract this, right? And then now that is the first difference. So now we have to find the second difference now, right? So to find the second difference, I will just make the calculation here to make everything clear and simple. Okay, so I will obviously I will have P, I will have 11 minus P minus into P minus 4, right? Because this is the one that is ahead, and this one that is behind, which is 11 minus P, distribute negative, minus P, negative times negative, that is plus 4, minus P, that is, okay, let's start with numbers. So that is 11 plus 4, that is 15, and then this is minus 2P, right? So here I will have 2P, okay? So I will have 2P here. I will have 15 minus 2P. So here it's 15 minus 2P. And then I'm done with this part. And then now let's do this one, which is Q minus 11 minus into 11 minus P. And then this will be Q minus 11. And then we distribute negative times positive 11, that is negative 11, negative times negative, that is positive P. So here I will have Q plus P minus 22, okay? So here I will have Q plus P minus 22, okay? And then, which is this part, right? Now let's do this one, right? Let's do this one, which is 22 minus Q minus into Q minus 11, okay? So, and by the way, you have to note that you always say Tn plus 1 minus Tn, okay? So this is 22 minus Q, distribute negative, that is minus Q, negative times negative, that is positive 11, and then this is obviously plus 33 minus 2Q, right? So here it will be 33 minus 2Q, right? So I want you to note something, right? So this is the okay, let me start by erasing this. Okay, so now we have the second difference now, right? So the second difference is that, right? So this is the first difference. Let me just underline this. The first difference is that number, is that number, is that number, and is that number, right? And the second difference will be that, and that, and that, right? So you have to know that the second difference has the constant number, right? And they already gave that to us. So they said this has a constant, okay, they said here it has a constant second difference of 1. So that means that we can just equate this 15 minus p to 1 because everything should be equal to 1. So it's 15 minus p equal to 1. So that if we take 1 to the side, it would be oh, this is 2p, by the way, not p. Yes, yeah, now it makes sense, right? So now it's 15 minus 2p equal to 1. Okay, now let's take this 15 to the side, so we'll be left with 2p equal to 1 minus 15, and then we'll have minus 2p equal to minus 14, and then we divide with minus 2 on both sides. Okay, and then we'll have p, we have p being equal to 7, right? And then also we can solve for q by taking this one, which is only have q, and equate it to 1. So we can have 33 minus 2q equal to 1 also, and then we take this to the side, which would have, we will leave negative 2q on the side. Then we have 1 minus 33, and then we have 2 minus 2q equal to minus 32, right? And then we can divide by 2 on both, by negative 2 on both sides, and then we can have our q as 16, right? So now we now proved that p is equal to 7 and q is equal to 16, right? So we just answered the first question, right? And don't forget that if you have any question, you can leave your comment on the comment section, and then I'll come back to you, right? Okay, now they say determine the general term Tn of the quadratic pattern. Basically, they want you to find the general equation for this, right? So it's very easy once you know the numbers, right? So we know that so that is 4.2, by the way, what I'm answering now. So we know that we have 4 is to now p is 7, so we just plug in 7, and then we have 11, and then we have 16, and then we have 22. Okay, now we can easily find the difference here, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and find the difference. So the first one, obviously, it's 7 minus 4. 7 minus 4, that is 3. And then here is 11 minus 7. That is 4. Okay, that is 3 here, and that is 4 here. And then it's 16 minus 11. That is 5. And 22 minus 16. That is 6. Right? So that is the first difference, by the way. If this was the arithmetic series, so this first difference will be the one that will be the same. Now let's find the second difference now, right? So it will be 4 minus 3, that is 1. 5 minus 4, that is 1. 6 minus 5, that is also 1, which is something that is already given here. They said that it has the constant second difference of 1, which is the one that we used here, right? So now, and you know that for us to find the general equation, because if they say find the Tn, so basically they are looking for the general equation for this number pattern. So what we have to understand is that the general equation is the one that you can use, right, to calculate any term in the sequence, right? By knowing the position, right, that by knowing the position of any number, right? By knowing the position, then you can use the general equation to find the term, right? That corresponds to that corresponds to that position. Okay, so the general equation, since we are dealing with the quadratic number pattern, it is Tn equal to an squared plus bn plus c, which is just taken on ax squared plus bx plus c. There's nothing different there, right? Now we have to calculate the value of a, b, and c, right, so that we can have this equation, right? So to do this, we have like a sort of a formula for us to do this. So the formula is you always say to find the value of a, because when you are calculating, you always use these numbers, right? You always use these numbers, and to solve, you start from the bottom to the top. Okay, and then you start by saying 2a, which is the formula. 2a is always equal to the second difference. So the second difference here is 1. So 2a would be equal to 1, and then we can divide by 2 on both sides, and then we will have a being equal to 1 over 2. Okay, and then after we got a, now we can use the second formula to find b. We have that. Now we can use the second formula to find b. So this formula is 3a plus b. 3a plus b is always equal to the second difference now, right? So the second difference that we have here is 3. So that will be equal to 3. Okay, so we already have the value of a, which we calculated here. So we can go ahead and plug that value in. So which would be 1 over 2 plus b, okay, which is equal to 3. If that would be 3 over 2, so it's b equal to 3 minus 3 over 2, right? Which that will be equal to b equal to, let me take LCD, which is 1, that is over 1. 1 divided by 2, that is 2 times that is 6, because 1 divided by 2 is 2 times 3 is 6, minus 2 divided by 2 is 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, so I will have b being equal to I will have b being equal to 1 over, okay, here it will be 3, right? So 3 over 2. So I will have b being equal to 3 over 2, because 6 minus 3, that is 3 over 2. Okay, now we have to find c. Now to find c, we have to use the value of a plus b plus c. That will be equal to the first term in the number pattern. So that is the first term is 4, so that would be equal to 4. Okay, now we already got the value of a, which is 1 over 2, and the value of b, which is 3 over 2, right? And then we have to calculate the value of c, which is 4. So I can solve this part first, right? If I solve this part, it will be 4 over 2, right, plus c equal to 4. If I divide that, that is 2 plus c equal to 4. Then I take 2 to the side, and then I will have c equal to 4 minus 2. Then I will have c equal to 2. Okay, so I already have the value of c. Okay, now I can go ahead and write the general equation in a right way. So the general equation is Tn equal to a, which is 1 over 2 n squared, plus, right, b, which is 3 over 2n, plus c, which is plus 2. All right, to check if this equation is correct, you just have to plug in the first term, right, on this equation. So where there's n, you just plug in 1, and you have to get 4, right? Because you know that the first term in this equation is 4. So if you are getting 4, that means the equation is correct. Okay, so that is t 1 over 2 into 1 squared plus 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2 into 1 plus 2, right? So if you calculate everything, that will give you 4. So that means that this equation is perfectly correct, right? So you can go ahead and do this. By the way, it doesn't mean that in an exam you have to do this. You are doing this so that you can confirm that your calculations are correct, right? So to avoid making a lot of mistakes, right, or avoid losing marks, you have to confirm this, right? I would prefer that you confirm it, right? Okay. Now the next step, so we answered the first question. So the second question, so the second question, its answer will end here, right? You'll do this just for you to check if your calculations are correct or not. Okay, now let's go to the next question. So the next question, they say determine the value of n if tn equal to 232. Okay, so that means where there is tn, remember tn is equal to, that's tn, I just calculated the general equation of tn, so it's 1 over 2n squared plus 3 over 2n plus 2, right? So they said here tn is equal to what is it, is equal to, what is this, is equal to 232, is equal to 232. So I can just go ahead and plug in tn here. So tn is 1 over 2n squared plus, right, 3 over 2n plus 2 equal to 232, right? So by the way, I want you to understand that this is so this is the equation, right, the general equation that you substituted here, right, to make everything simpler. Okay, so I can just, to make everything simpler, I can just multiply by 2 throughout. So I can multiply this part by 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? So this 2 will cancel that 2, that 2 will cancel that 2. Here I will have 4, so I'll have n squared plus n plus 4, right? That will give me, what is 300 and so 300, okay, let me punch this in the calculator to be fast. So 232, right, 232 times 2, that is 464, right? So that is 464. So I will take that 464 to the side, and then I will have n squared plus n, right, plus 4 minus 464, right, equal to 0, which that would give me n squared plus n minus 460, right? If I take out 4 in 464, right, that is equal to 0. So by the way, if you don't know how to find the factors for this, you can use the quadratic equation, right? So you can use the quadratic formula, you can use the quadratic formula to do this, or you can just find the factors, right? But I can quickly find the factors for this because it's quite simple. So the factors for this is, I'll open 2 bracket, then the factors for this, it would be n and n, right, and it would be plus 23 and it would be minus 20, right, equal to 0. So n plus 23 equal to 0, or n minus 20 equal to 0. I want you to note something. So here you say n is equal to not equal to, n is not equal to minus 23, or n is equal to 20, right? I want to explain this, why this is negative. The reason why this one we are saying n is not equal to negative is because here, where there is n, we are just talking about the position, right? So if I'm saying find the first term, I'll just plug in the first position, and then in the first position I'll get the corresponding number, right? But I can't say any position that is negative. For example, if someone is running, or people that are running, there's no one that got the position of -1, right? It's either there was someone that would get a 1, position 1, position 2, but those that would be positive numbers because we are talking about the position, right? So that's why we have to take out we take the positive number. So the correct answer is that. Okay, so the answer is n equal to negative, is n equal to 20. So that is the answer that you will take here. Okay, and then now let's answer the last question. So the last question, they say find the sum of two consecutive terms in the pattern, right? If okay, they say if the sum of two consecutive terms, right, in the pattern is 1227, calculate the difference between these two numbers, right? These two terms. Okay, so one thing you have to understand is this, right? So this question is a little bit complex, but it's very simple when it comes to doing it. So you'll see why I'm saying it's simple, right? So now they are saying here, right? So if the something that is consecutive, consecutive, right? Something that is consecutive, right? Is something that follow each other, right? It's something that follow each other. Hence, the sum is the answer that you get when you are subtracting, right? That means that if I'm adding tn plus 1, right? The sum for this will give me 1227, right? So remember, I want you to note something, right? You remember when I was doing this part, right? So when I was doing this part, I said t into 1, and then I plug in 1. That means the value that is here is the value that you plug in here, right? So hence, I can just go ahead and plug that in, because I know that the sum of these terms, right? So the sum of two terms, and the sum is the answer that you get when you are adding, right? So the first one, it should be 1 over 2n squared plus, right, 3 over 2n, because I'm just plugging this n, plus 4, right? Plus 2, sorry, not 4. And then the next one, it will be plus 1 over 2 into n plus 1 squared, right, plus 3 over 2 into n plus 1 into n plus 1. Okay, let me just into n plus 1, okay, plus 2, and then that must be equal to 1227. So I want this term, right? Okay, so now let's solve for n here. So if I'm solving for n, it's something that is a little bit complex, but it's very easy. You just have to understand how to add and subtract the like terms, right? So it's simple as that. So the first thing, obviously, I can just, after you solve this, I just solve this prior before everything. So after this and adding, after addition and everything, you just get the complete equation of n squared plus 4n, right, plus 6 plus 6 equal to 1000, equal to 1227. Then after I took out 1227 to the side, I will have n squared plus 4n minus 1221, right? 1221 equal to 0. Okay, let me erase this. Okay, so I can go ahead and factorize this. I can also use the quadratic equation to do this, okay, or I can just find the factors. So the factors for this is quite simple, right? So these are the factors. So the factors is n plus 37 and n minus 33. Okay, so it's n plus 37, n minus 33. Obviously n, I already explained this, n will not equal to minus 37, or n will be equal to 33, right? Because that is 33. Okay, so that 33 is uh, 33 is because it's the positive number, right? I already explained this. And then since they want the consecutive terms, so it's 33 and 34. So that is 33 and 34, right? Okay, so 33 and 34. Okay, so there's the answers. So I hope everyone understand this. If you have any question, just go ahead and put it in the comment and share this video and everything. Have a good day, everyone. Ciao ciao.